There's a question where we have somebody travelling at constant speed, which means that we can use the relationship, the simple relationship between speed, distance and time, so the DST triangle if you like. Right, now it says Simon and Gavin drive 140 kilometres, so they both go the same distance, both at constant speed. Simon drives at 5 kilometres an hour faster than Gavin. So if Gavin's speed is v, then Simon's speed is going to be v plus 5. Now in each case, in order to work out the distance travelled, Gavin's time, in order to work out Gavin's time, it's going to be his distance divided by his speed. Well, his distance is 140 kilometres and his speed is v. And if we then do the same for Simon, then Simon's time is going to be his distance, which is 140, divided by his speed, and his speed is v plus 5. Okay, so I'm going to call, it then says Simon completes his journey in 15 minutes less than Gavin. Okay, so if Gavin's time is t, so let's call that t, then Simon's time is this, and actually that's going to be t minus a quarter. So I forgot to say that actually the velocity is in kilometres per hour, the time will have to be in hours. So if we substitute one into the other, so I'm doing part 2 here, I can see from here that 140 divided by v plus 5 is going to equal to, I'm going to replace t here with 140 over v, so 140 over v minus a quarter. And if I just jiggle things around a bit, if I move the quarter to the right, so a quarter is going to equal 140 over v minus 140 over v plus 5, which is what they want. Now, in order to make that into a quadratic equation, I've basically got to get rid of the fractions. And the easiest way to do that is to multiply all in one go by the lowest common denominator. And in this case, the lowest common denominator is 4v times v plus 5. So I'm going to take each expression here and multiply it by 4v, v plus 5. So on the left-hand side, I've got a quarter, so I'm going to do, so multiplying, so 4v times v plus 5 divided by 4, so that's my left-hand side here, is equal to, so 140, so it's going to be 140 times 4v brackets v plus 5, and that's got this v on the bottom, and that's minus 140 again times 4v brackets v plus 5, and that's divided by this v plus 5. So all I've done is I've multiplied this, this and this by 4v v plus 5, and the reason I've done this is because everything cancels. The 4's cancel there, here the v's cancel, and here, sorry that's a plus, the v plus 5's cancel. Now if I continue, what I'm left with here is v times v plus 5. Here I've got 140 times 4, well that's 560 times v plus 5, and here again I've got minus 140 times 4, well that's 560 v. Okay, the v plus 5's have gone. So remove the brackets here, I've got v squared plus 5v is equal to 560 v plus, well 560 times 5 is 2,800 minus 560 v. Now those cancel each other out, and I've then got, just moving things around, 5v squared plus 5v, subtracting 2,800 from both sides, is equal to 0. There's the equation. Okay, part 3 says solve this equation. Now, I'm not even going to try to factorise it. It might factorise, but I really can't be bothered. So I'm going to use the quadratic formula with a equal to 1, b is equal to 5, and c is equal to minus 2,800. And from that, v is equal to minus b, well let's write down the formula, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Remember, write the formula first, then substitute in the numbers. So v is equal to minus b, so that's minus 5 plus or minus the square root of b squared, well that's 25, minus, put a bracket here, 4 times 1 times minus 2,800, and that's divided by 2a, well that's just 2 times 1. So that becomes minus 5 plus or minus the square root of, now this is 25 minus the minus is plus, and then 4 times 2,800 is 11,200, and that's divided by 2. So that becomes minus 5 plus or minus the square root of 11225 divided by 2. Now I can see that if I do minus 5 minus the square root, I'm going to get a negative number, so I can ignore that. The velocity can't be negative. We've then got minus 5, so I'm going to type in literally minus 5 plus the square root of 11,225 and divide that by 2. And on my calculator that comes out as 50.474. Now remember what we found here is V, which is kilometers per hour. So the velocity, so V, is 50.474 kilometers per hour. Now the question now says, hence find the times taken by Simon and Gavin. Now if we look at the times, for Gavin, his time is 140 divided by V. Okay, so let's have a look at Gavin first. So Gavin, his T is equal to 140 divided by V. Well, in this case, it's 140 divided by the 50.47. Save it in your memory on your calculator. You should know how to do that. Now that comes out as 2.7737. Now that is hours. Now to change it from hours, so decimals of hours, they want the answer to be to the nearest minute. Now you know that you've got 2 hours, so what I do here is I take the 2.7737 blah blah blah, I subtract 2, so that leaves me with the 0.7737, because I know the time is going to be 2 hours and a certain number of minutes. Okay, so we are looking for the number of minutes. And what I then do with this number is I times that by 60. Now if I times that by 60, because there are 60 minutes in an hour, it comes out as 2 hours and 46 minutes to the nearest minute. Okay, now for Simon, his time, okay, his time is, let's go back, his time, Simon's time is 140 over V plus 5, whoopsie, so I'm going to do 140 divided by that V that we found before, so that's the 50.47. I'm going to add 5 to that. Now that comes out as, okay, that comes out as 2.5237 hours. So again, I'm going to subtract 2 from that, okay, which leaves me with 0.5237, and I'm now going to multiply that by 60. And if I multiply that by 60, it comes out with 2 hours. Timesing this by 60 comes out as 31.42, and that's going to be minutes, so it's 2 hours 31 minutes.